Welcome back to Wealth Mavericks. On today's episode, we're talking about becoming the kind of person who can handle the life you desire. Success leaves clues. So just study the people who have done what you want to do and follow their lead. Am I operating at the level my future requires? Welcome back to Wealth Mavericks. I'm on my own today, and I've got what I think is a great episode for you. I hope it's one that will stick with you and cause you to reflect regularly on the question, am I operating at the level my future requires? There's something that Bob says on every tax plan presentation we have, and that is, if you were playing a video game, your earning ability has progressed to a level 7 or 8. But your planning is still at a level 1 or 2. And it's our job to help you get your planning up to that level of your income. But we see often that it's not just your planning that hasn't caught up. It's your entire mindset and your approach toward building wealth. And the level at which you are operating in life has to catch up to that income level and fully align with the future you are trying to create. But how does one actually do that? So first, we'll define what it means. Brian Tracy is an OG in the personal development space, and he's one of my favorites. And he teaches that we all operate at a certain level, and the goal is to keep growing ourselves into the kind of person who has more capacity and can handle bigger opportunities, bigger responsibilities, and bigger problems. And he puts it simply that if you are operating as a level 2 person, a level 5 problem or opportunity feels overwhelming. It shakes you, it makes you retreat, overthink, or make decisions or not make decisions from a place of fear. But when you grow yourself into a level 8 person, that same level 5 problem or opportunity just doesn't feel nearly as big. It feels more normal because you have more capacity and more confidence and more emotional control. And so that's really the work we all have, not just grinding and fighting our way to better results, but by becoming the kind of person who can handle and sustain those results. So if you want to live a level 10 life, you can't operate in level 2 thinking. You have to continuously grow your mindset, habits, courage, as well as your ability to solve big problems and make bold decisions. If you're listening, it's likely that your 6-figure or multiple 6-figure tax bill is probably a big problem. And also, if you're listening, it's one that you know can be solved. But while one person will look at how we solve it, how we justify it all, and say, heck yeah, let's go, another will say, that's too complex. That's too scary. I'll just stay where I am, even though they're not happy with where they are. So how do you change that? Well, the answer is simple, but you actually have to put it into practice. You define the ideal version of yourself, and then you act as if you were him or her now. Another way of putting this is be, do, have. So often we get it completely backwards. We say, well, once I have this, then I will do this, and then I will become the person that I want to be. But the secret is to become the person now, to act from that place. So when you actually take the time to define who is that ideal version of you, you can ask yourself, well, how much do they earn? What do they do with their money? What do they invest in? How do they feel each day? How do they treat their family? How do they show up to work? How do they take care of their body? Like, this is all things we talk about in the 510s. We want to continuously improve these things. But unless you define what does a 10 out of 10 even look like, it's harder to get there. So take the time to think, who is that ideal version? And then you simply become that person now. So when you face a challenge or you have a decision to make, you think, well, what would that person do? And when you act like that person, you become that person. So tangibly speaking, how do you grow from a level 2 person to a level 8 or 9 or 10? There are probably many ways, but I have 3 for you today. So the first is what you're doing now. Educate yourself. Follow the path of people who've already gone where you want to go. You can certainly learn by trial and error or just trying to do it all yourself, but that takes time and pain. And as they say, success leaves clues. So just study the people who have done what you want to do and follow their lead. That is what Bob Wolf has done for 20 plus years. He was seeing how the wealthy do it. The wealthy don't pay a lot in taxes. How do they do it? How can I say yes? How can I piece all this together? He studied them. He followed them. He likes to say we eat our own cooking. And now the path is laid. So people can follow it. And you don't know what you don't know. So if everyone around you thinks the same way, invests in the same things, complains about taxes the same way, that becomes your ceiling. So one of the fastest ways to level up is to intentionally learn from people who are already operating at the level that you want to reach. So read the books, listen to the podcasts, and find the people who've already solved the problems that you're currently struggling with. Higher level thinking is often caught before it is fully understood. And so when you start exposing yourself to new perspectives, you start seeing different possibilities for that future of yours. The second is to build your capacity to make bigger decisions. So you already may be educating yourself, reading books, listening to podcasts. You see a bunch of advice on Instagram or TikTok. So a lot of people don't really have a knowledge problem. It's more a capacity problem. They understand they need to do something different, but as soon as a decision feels too big or unfamiliar, their nervous system says, absolutely not. So they delay, they keep researching, or they just default back to what feels safe, or they make excuses like, oh, now isn't the right time. But higher level people learn how to make faster, bigger, bolder decisions without freaking out or falling apart. And they also ask better questions as they're making their decisions. So instead of fear-based, what could go wrong? They ask, what's the upside to this? What is the cost of doing nothing? And again, what would the ideal version of me decide? And the third is to upgrade your environment and, of course, your team. Who you surround yourself with is a huge determiner of your level of success. It is a lot harder to become a level 9, 10 person when you are surrounded by level 2 people, or you've chosen to have level 2 support. And at some point, your environment has to match the future you're trying to create. And that means the people you're listening to, the friends you're taking advice from, the professionals you hire, and just the standards that you live by in your life. And for many high-income doctors, this is especially important because a lot of you are relying on the same basic planning and structures that you had when you were first starting out. Even though now your income, your taxes, your assets, even the opportunities that you have, they've all changed dramatically. So at that new level, your team has to rise to that level. Your team has to evolve. And higher level people do not try to do it all on their own. They realize that time is our most precious resource, and they're willing to outsource those things that are not in their area of expertise to help them solve the problems that need to be solved. So to close out, I pose this question. What level are you currently operating from? And are you willing to grow yourself into the kind of person who can make level 8, 9, 10 decisions to achieve the best life possible for yourself and your family? Because the next level of your life will require a next level version of you. And the good news is they're out there waiting. And the first step is to act like them now. So that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy these episodes, I'd love for you to hit subscribe, share with your friends and colleagues, even leave us a review so that we can reach even more wonderful doctors with our content. I look forward to seeing you again. And until next time, go be a wealth maverick.